I think my friend poisoned me and wants to eat me. I've had this friend, who I've known for many years but was never close to. Recently, coming back from uni for summer, I went back home and stayed with my parents. There isn't much to do in my hometown except for hang out with friends and smoke drink, so that's exactly what I did. While hanging out with my friends, I ran into the guy. I'll call him Safe for the purpose of this story. Saf has always seemed like a chill guy, typical 19-year-old man who studies business, living off of daddy's money since he comes from a wealthy family. As soon as we reconnected, we developed a closer friendship. He started hosting at his house and my friends and I would go. When we smoked, he frequently brought up his fantasy of killing and eating someone. Of course, all of us being high would just laugh it off and considered it to be shock humor. However, he would never laugh while making these jokes. We, my friends, had agreed he was pretty creepy, but we chalked it up to him just being too high. That is, until I started hanging out with him alone. We have a pretty small friend group that hangs out nearly every day. Safe and I stay up pretty late after everyone's left, usually until the sun comes up, which is how we got so close, because it would just be us at the end of the night, and he would drive me home. On one of those nights, we were with a group of friends and decided we would all take edibles. For context, we were at Saf's house. 3 hours into it, when all of us are pretty gone, Safe starts going on a tangent about how it would feel to pluck someone's eyeballs out. He starts going into detail, and my other friend asked him to stop talking because it was making him uncomfortable. He always did this, but this time he really went into detail, explaining imagery, etc. Someone quickly changed the subject, and the night went on. The light has now turned green, and thank God it was only 5 of them, because there were only 2 or 3 other cars around. But they all started beeping and swerving as to not hit the car or my friend. As my friend and I are yelling for him to open the door, he drives a couple inches forward, putting the tire on my friend's foot. He then unlocks the door and watches my friend yell at him for being trapped under the tire. I look over to Saf and I see him hysterically laughing and putting the car in reverse for my friend to get in. Once we get back onto the road, he starts driving like crazy, which isn't unusual for him, but he was a lot more reckless that night, morning. Now, before you all judge me for staying friends with such a weird and dangerous man, keep in mind it had never been this bad before. He just said really weird shit every now and then. But I honestly thought it was an intrusive thoughts thing. I struggle with mental health and have the most vile and weird intrusive thoughts, so I thought that was it. And as for the night I have mentioned, we were all really high on edibles, so although I was very weirded out, I thought he must have just been super high. And so was I. So I convinced myself I was overreacting. At this point, I get a really bad feeling along with the sickness, and my body decided I had to get out of there. I thankfully had some money with me, so I ordered a cab and went home. In the cab on the way home, I started vomiting out the window because of how much pain my stomach was in. I get home and I just collapse, but I am unable to fall asleep because of how much pain I am in. Then I start thinking about all the times he's mentioned the desire to kill someone and eat them. He always talked about how he would eat a girl's thigh because he believes it would be the juiciest. How he would only eat a girl and not a boy. Since that day, I've kept my distance, but I've been fighting with myself internally asking, did I get poisoned or did I just drink too much? Is he a psychopath or just a little weird? I truly don't know, so please, any advice is appreciated. As I've mentioned, I've been friends with him for years and developed a close relationship, and I do love him as a friend, just not enough to get eaten. So, my, probably, cannibal friend, let's not meet again.